had this thought in my head today, and I wanted to make this video and share it and see if I get any feedback on this from anyone else. I was watching YouTube this morning, and I often watch these videos about scam bait. It's reverse scamming. It's the scammer had called pretending to be a well, the guy in the scam bait guy that made the video, he was pretending to be a client of a website called Silver Singles that is a dating website for older people. I was watching this morning. People are vulnerable at different points in their life, and a lot of the people that get targeted by these scams are older people, elderly, and people that, these love scams. These women, mostly women, but some men also fall victim to this. They think they've fallen in love with someone they've met online on some dating site or on some social media site, and they begin, this love affair, this internet love affair, and then pretty soon they start getting scammed out of their life savings. And so I was thinking about this when I was watching these videos, and I wanted to share this. This happened to me. The first time it happened to me was during the early stages of my relationship with the narcissist. It was very early into the relationship, weeks into it. I check in my bank, and this is not the scam. The narcissist did not do this. I want to make that clear. It was not him that scammed me. I'm just sharing this as to show that it was relating to my state of mind and what was going on in my life at that time. I go to check my bank balance, and I notice that there's a charge that I'm not sure about. I can't find it in any of my charges or receipts. I contact my bank and ask them to check to see if it was something I had just overlooked. And they told me that it was from a gaming website online. There were several charges. They'd probably used my account information. They'd hacked it. They'd gotten it some way and had used that account information to, to test the waters. So I thought and thought, where could this have come from? How could this have happened? I tried to go back in my mind of different things I had purchased during that time. And the only thing that really stood out to me was at some point shortly before this happened, and it happened enough time had passed that I had kind of not really, it wasn't the first thing that popped in my head, but the more I thought about it, I realized that it had to be, because there was nothing else, was that there had been some issue with my PayPal account, and I don't remember exactly what the issue was. Some payment hadn't gone through, or some money hadn't transferred, and after several attempts to contact them through the help center and through email, I finally called the number, and I think I was probably directed to some scam site, because I remember, and at the time I wasn't thinking about it, when the guy starts asking me questions, I'm answering his questions. He's talking to me the whole time he's doing this, and he speaks perfect English, so it didn't throw any red flags to me that he was, and even if he had a foreign voice, we're so used to calling these tech support places for our products that we get these foreign talking people, and we don't think anything of it. But I do remember him, and he was very well spoken and spoke perfect English, so I had no thoughts of anything. But as he's asking me these questions, he's making small talk. He's keeping me entertained with just little, how are you today and how's things going, and just keeping me entertained as we're talking. And about 5 or 6 questions into it, I start realizing that all the questions he's asking me are like security questions, and I start wondering what. So I asked him about that, and he's like, "Oh no, this is just questions we use to set up your PayPal to make it more secure." I'm thinking, oh, I'm not sure. I'm not, I'm starting to get a little bit of a red flag there. So the next question he asks me, I, give a fake answer. I give an answer that has nothing to do with me, and it threw him off, and I realized then. So we went ahead with the phone call, and he's changing the subject. He's keeping me entertained, and so we hang up, and like I said, time passed. I never thought nothing else about it, and then this money disappears from my account, and I cannot say that it was PayPal or a scam, but either way, the money was taken. I had to get a new card. I had to, go to my bank and work out getting that money returned. So this was early stages of my relationship with the narcissist. We'd only been talking a few weeks. We were still in that phase, that grooming type, getting to know each other type of phase. So flash forward to later on when the relationship was coming to an end, and I was in the middle of this discard phase, and I'm going through all these emotions, and things are happening, and I'm really not, I'm all over the place. I'm staying with relatives. I don't take the time to sit down and check my accounts and things. So sometime during that phase, it happened to me again. I go to check my accounts again. I had to go to my bank. I had to work it out with my bank, and the money was returned. My card was once again changed. I went on and I changed every password and every security question and everything on all of my accounts that I use for PayPal and anything like that. I changed my like my Netflix and things like that from PayPal directly to come out of my debit card, out of my bank. And I just done whatever I could think of to change anyone who might have access to any of my accounts. So it was just, what I'm getting at is, I was in these, like during the early stages of my relationship with him, I was so focused on what was going on with him that I wasn't really watching my accounts that closely. And during the discard phase, it was the same thing. My mind was so focused and I was so distracted that it was easier for me to be targeted. And I think that people, the relation between scams and the scam that you get by the narcissist are so similar. They catch you at a vulnerable state of mind. They catch you at a low point. They catch you in fear. They use fear. Fear, like, for example, if you're in a relationship with a narcissist, they may become abusive, and they use that fear to keep you where they want you. Or they may start triangulating you and use fear of losing them to keep you where they want you, because, you'll start to, begging or, scrambling to keep them in your life. And the scammer, when they've got you on the phone or when they are into your bank account, they catch you at a time when you're maybe a little bit distracted. Maybe you've used your card on some website and you haven't gone back to check your bank account to make sure if everything's, went through okay. These scammers, they target people who they see as easy prey. The elderly, like on that one, the Silver Singles, they find these people who are looking for love and romance. They're probably older, widowed, widowers. Maybe they're divorced after many years of marriage, and they, are not real adept at dating, so they don't know, when they fall so head over heels in love with the idea, just like we did with our narcissists. We fell head over heels, believed everything they were telling us, and looking back now, we say, why didn't we catch those red flags? Just like the target of the scam, they didn't catch those red flags when their money was being dwindled out of their accounts. So I just wanted to compare the two, and I wanted to know if anyone else, the reason I made this video and I wanted feedback on it was, did anyone else go through anything like this? I often see a lot of videos on YouTube about people who were scammed financially by their narcissist. Maybe they got into a marriage with that person and they spent a great deal of money, or that person that they were married to took a great deal of their money, or took them in a divorce and they ended up losing their homes and things like that. It's just another way for somebody to try to hold on. But I wanted feedback from people out there, and I wanted to know if anyone else went through these financial, were you scammed by, were you taken for money either by your narcissist or during the time that you were in that vulnerable state of mind during your discard or during your love bombing with the narcissist? Do you feel like that you were an easier target during that time because your guard was down and you weren't paying attention, and maybe you did it because, like, these people, if you've ever watched like these shows like Dr. Phil or any of these other shows where they show these people who have lost hundreds of thousands of dollars to these scammers, these online scammers, mostly they're love scams. These people are so vulnerable, and they miss the red flags. They continue to give their money away. They continue to be targeted. And these people, the scammer becomes abusive with them. And if they start telling them they're running out of money, they will, you need to get more money. You need to find my money. Find me some money. They become almost like a gangster type, which they are. But I just wondered if anyone else had gone through that, and if your state of mind, if you feel like that your state of mind was one reason why it was easier for you to be targeted by a bank's, an online banking scam or an online scam of some type, or just if and I'm not asking people, basically if their narcissist took them for money, but I think maybe a lot of people do end up losing a lot of money from the relationship with the narcissist, whether it's that the narcissist steals their money or takes their money, or whether they end up having to spend their savings to like I did, to try to get back on their feet afterwards. So I just wanted to touch on that and compare your average scam with the scam of the narcissist, and the way that we get scammed into a relationship and get scammed into believing everything they're maybe it'll help somebody out there.